And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Welcome to this such a lovely setting for the Celebrate with Sachiel Connect. My name is Lisa Wu. I will be your MC tonight. So before we start the official program, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome your esteemed guests, the Honorable Jack Austin, the former leader of the government in the Senate and a long-time representative of British Columbia in the upper house of Parliament. He was sworn to the Privy Council when appointed Minister of State and has been awarded the Order of Canada and also the Order of British Columbia. Welcome, Senator. And also we would like to welcome Mr. Paul Sip, the Regional Vice President in Business Banking from Bank of Montreal. Welcome. Together with him is Mr. Michael Ray, the Vice President from Private Banking, also from Bank of Montreal. Welcome. Thank you, everyone. And tonight, I'm very pleased to introduce you to Sachiel Connect and share some exciting news about this venture. Many of you are already probably very familiar with us as investors and shareholders in the company, and we thank you for your continued support. Sachiel Connect is an information service platform seeking to promote Canadian foods and tourism with the transmission of Canadian lifestyle and culture. This unique focus on foods and respect for Aboriginal traditions has already led to commercial success in the beta testing phase. So without further ado, let's welcome our first keynote speaker, the Honorable Jack Austin, to come up to the stage and give us the opening remarks. Senator.
Thank you, Lisa, and welcome everyone to this lovely evening, lovely event. I am very interested indeed in the Sachiel Connect project. I've had talks for almost 2 years with Eric about his concept, and I'm taken with it for reasons of my own personal history. I spent 10 years as the president, or 7 actually, and 3 as deputy chairman of the Canada-China Business Council. And in that role, I tried to lead Canadian business activity, interest, and participation in the China market. And there was a lot of success. But the success was not in the small and medium enterprise, SME enterprise world. It was really tough for Canadian SMEs to get into the China market. And people would come over to China, they would look at the market, they would say it's expensive, it's difficult, they weren't unsound, basically, in making their business judgments. But Canadian business didn't have access in the way they should have. And now there is an electronic platform that allows the Canadian business community to offer its products without going there all the time or creating a distribution center in China. And Sachiel Connect is one of those connectors. And this type of project is absolutely essential to Canadian activity in the China market. So I'm a big fan of this type of exercise. And what I've seen, water and some other products, this is a project moving forward. And will offer, it needs to be better known in Canada, but will offer the opportunity for a number of product makers in the Canadian side to see their products move into the China market. I think this is a very exciting enterprise. Canada is, as you know, no secret, having chats with the Chinese side over a free trade agreement. This is not going to take place in a great hurry. There are a lot of industry interests. Canadian market, Chinese market is much more closed than the Canadian market. Finding equivalence, finding reciprocity, representing key Canadian industry interests is painstaking work. And some of our negotiators, I've been told, may be distracted by events south of the border. So there's, I mean, we have an excellent team in Ottawa. They just negotiated CETA, an agreement between Canada and the European community. So they know the issues, but we don't have a huge team. And so China is definitely on the government's radar. It's definitely on the Canadian business radar. And we'll see progress. I think it's important that if there are interests in specific industries represented here that have stories to tell or needs to carry out, that you make those needs known. And there are government officials all over the place. But we have a major trade counselor here. We have NGO organizations that are doing excellent work. HQ, Advantage BC in their own fields, a number of other organizations, including a chapter of the Canada-China Business Council here. So that is the sort of sober but exciting message. I know I haven't told it in a way that makes you jump into the market, but you are committed people, and I am committed too to this particular project, and will help as in any way I can to make it a success. And it really, if I may, one personal story. It's about water. Sachiel is also selling water into China. Well, I happened to have been Deputy Minister of Energy, Mines and Resources from 1970 to 74. I'm the first teenager who was a Deputy Minister. And we had exchanged diplomatic recognition in October of 70. So this was the first technical group that was sent by Canada to China. And it was June of 71. I spent 3 weeks in China. And 3 of those days in 5-hour meetings with Zhou Enlai. And then we had, when we were about to leave after all of our time there, Zhou Enlai hosted a banquet in the Beijing Hotel, the banquet room of the Beijing Hotel. I'm sure there are many here who've been there since that time. And it was the first time I had seen these round tables. And it was the first time I'd seen the Chinese custom of the host going from table to table, toasting his guests. Now, at our table, there was this white and red bottle, which was, you know what I'm talking about, Kwei Zhou Mao Tai. That was my introduction to a friend I've tried to avoid in the last few years for sure. And I had 2 of those drinks, and I tell you, I wasn't anxious to stand up quickly. And then I see that Zhou Enlai gets up, and he has a little cup and an assistant carrying a bottle of Kwei Zhou Mao Tai. And he's going from table to table, and he's toasting. And there were 10 tables of 8 there. And I said to the official who was looking after me, sitting next to me, I said, I won't use his name, although it's so long ago. But anyway, I said to him, "What's he drinking? I've had 2, and I'm afraid to stand up." And he said to me, "Don't tell anybody, but it's water." And today, Xi Jinping can drink Sachiel water. And that's our objective. Thank you very much.